her mother days. I'm Teresa Palmer.
And I am Sarah Wright Olsen. Welcome, Daisies. Welcome to the show. We're so excited today because we get to talk about one of our favorite topics, which is naming babies. With somebody that I've been following for a long time. Because her like platform is so aesthetically pleasing and all the names, I'm obsessed. I'm like, could I have 15 children? I don't know. Like every time I see
horses.
I could have some horses. I'm like wanting to name other people's kids when I'm reading all the names on there. If you guys have seen her, it's Grow Little Wildflower. And her name is Michelle Casey. And Michelle is an Australian mama of 3 little ones. She is a wife, a coffee sipper, and a sunrise waker. She's the owner of Grow Little Wildflower, a name consulting business where she works globally with parents as they navigate the naming journey. She plays a pivotal role in helping parents choose the name that sparks joy for them, a name that will last a lifetime. So we are so excited to have you. Welcome to the show.
Yay.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh.
So
this is so exciting. Ever since we wrote this blog post on Your Zen Mama, it was like baby names and the brain. We get inundated by people being like, what do you think of this name? Like, I really love this name for my little girl. Oh, I'm thinking if I have boy-girl twins, they'll be called this and that. Like, it's so funny. Like, Sarah and I, for whatever reason, we put ourselves out there now as these people who want to always be talking about baby names. So it's perfect that you're here with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. I know your kids' names. I'm always obsessed to hear the next one. So yeah, this is mutually exciting.
Okay, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and how you got into this. Like, how did you land in the world of name consulting?
And what are their names?
Yes,
I want to know
and
how
what are
you
your
chose
kids'
their
names? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got 3 kids and 2 boys and a girl. And if we go back to when I was 8, I actually named my little sister. So that's how long I've been name obsessed for.
Wow. What did you name your sister?
Okay, so think about an 8-year-old brain.
Yeah, you named her like peanut butter.
Lollipop.
Peanut butter.
You know what? I actually chose a really classic name. So, but you know, I did name her after myself. So I named her my middle name.
Cute.
Which is Amy. And then my best friend at the time was called Laura. So I named her Amy Laura.
Oh, cute.
Oh
She
my
was
God.
baby number 6 for my mum. So my mum's probably like, I'm all named out. 5 girls, 1 boy, give them to me. So
6
dreams.
babies.
Dreams. Oh my God, Sarah and I are like,
we're like,
that's our dream.
Your mom. We love her.
I know. You would love my mum too. So yeah, that's my earliest memory of really loving names and like coming up with name combinations. And I used to name all my dolls and I used to name everything basically. And then, you know, life happened and I got into the corporate world and I was a banker and all the boring stuff. And then during lockdown in 2020, I was homeschooling my kids and I had my little 1-year-old running around like crazy. She's my wild one.
Is she your middle or is she your third?
She's my last.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah. So she's my wild one. And I was like, I was always such a gatekeeper of names because I never wanted anyone to use my names and I didn't want to share too many in case I wanted to use it. And then I realized like, I'm not having any more kids. So I'm just going to share the names that I love, like my own list.
Yeah.
And because I love to write, I thought I'm going to write who I, you know, feel this child could be or become, right? So I would just share a name. I just started this Instagram. Literally, I wrote down Grow Little Wildflower. It just came to me. And then I just pushed post on my first name. And I just started to write for each name. So I just shared one name at a time when I could amongst the chaos of life. There was no like, you know, it just organically happened. And people just came and found me somehow. And they just loved what I wrote for their children's name or the name they were thinking of using. And it just grew from there very organically. Like you said, like you know, people would come to you for names, and then eventually like my DMs would just blow up, and I realized like there's something here, like I need to actually take more time to help people. And so over the years, I just organically became this business, and I was faceless for 2 years. So I was anonymous. No one knew who I was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Cause I was just like, this is so niche. Like, what are people going to think? You know, all those things. And then one day I thought, nah, stuff it. I'm just going to share who I am. And then it just grew even more. So, yeah.
Oh my
And what
gosh.
a fun thing to do, like late at night, like researching, especially if you have a hard case, like someone who's got like really eclectic names or something, like just diving in.
When someone comes to me and they tick the box like bold and brave, I'm like, let's do it. This is
do it. Bold and brave.
How brave do you want to be? Because I can be brave.
Have you ever fully made up a name? Like at all? Like my friend had a kid in school when she was she was like 21. She was the first one of the whole group to have a kid. And she made up his name. And it's such a dope name. His name is Zavi, Zarvi. And like he's such a Zavi. And so I was wondering, has that ever happened where they're like, I like these letters and this sound and these many syllables. You're like, I'll just create something.
Yeah, look, I haven't had too many where they've wanted a name that's not completely been thought of before. I have paired names together to make a name. So that way it's like Vera Bell. Like as one. And so they're not like really like names as such, but they're two names paired together. So often people will like that kind of thing. But if someone really wants something that's quite unheard of, I will go and search names that are like outside the top 1,000 names that have been given to like 5 babies. So you would probably never have heard of them, but they are actually like out there in the world.
There are other people in the world with those names.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that people do ask for as well.
Yeah.
And what did you end up naming your kids? What are your kids' names?
Yeah. So I've got, my first boy is 13, and then I've got a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. So my boy who's 13, we called him Taj, Taj, Taj Byron.
Oh, are you a fan of Byron Bay?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that place so much. Yes.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, Taj Byron.
And Taj means crown. So I felt like he was my first little king, you know, like my first son. And we thought of his name really early on. Like we agreed, we were like, this is it. We wanted a name that no one else had and that it actually turned heads a little bit and was unique. Like we wanted, some parents don't want that. We wanted him to be like the only one, and people wouldn't forget him. They would remember him for his name. And so we've successfully done pretty well with that with Taj, because there's only ever been like one in the school.
That's
which
so
is pretty cool. Yeah, so we ticked that box pretty well.
I'm like that too. I don't want like a lot of kids in the same class with the same name. I was always like, it'd be cool if you're the only one in the school with this name.
That's what I wanted.
That's what I want. I don't want it to be like a teacher says a name and like 4 different kids are like, yes.
That's my name. I was always like, I was Sarah W.
Sarah W. Sarah O. Sarah L. I remember.
Yeah. You know what? There's no little Sarahs anymore, so it could make a comeback.
Yeah,
there
that's
are no
true.
Little Sarahs. Okay, so you have Taj, and then who's your next little one?
And then we've got Kai.
Oh,
yes,
cute.
I love that name.
I love that name too.
I'm a big fan of one syllable, strong one syllable names.
Yes.
So yeah, Kai, and then his middle name is Lennox, which you would know.
I love that.
Byron and Lennox. They're like siblings suburbs. And Kai means the ocean, and we just, my husband's a surfer, so we just spent every day at the ocean, and I would write names out and he would say no to every single name, and like they do. And yeah, in the end we had Knox and Kai, and my first son, he was 2 years and 9 months just before we were having Kai, and we told him the names and he said he wouldn't stop saying baby Kai, baby Kai, baby Kai. And so we were like, I guess it's Kai. And then he went and told people, and we were like, no, you can't do that. And then, so that was fairly, you know, we only decided that like the last 2 weeks, that was a bit different to Taj. And now there's lots of Kais, and it's a name that's like way on the rise, and that's okay too.
That's like Bodhi. Bodhi was like, there weren't very many
Bodhi's.
Bodhis.
Was the name. That was the other name.
No way.
Yeah. And then my sister had a bow just shortly before me, and I was like,
okay, I can't do Bodhi. Yeah, well, like Bodhi, when I named Bodhi, I didn't know any other Bodhis. And then our good friend named her daughter Bodhi like a couple of years later. And then there was just this like, and now I'm hearing Bodhi. Like I'm just hearing it everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I was being so original.
Yeah, I know, same. I'm like, oh, Kai. Now I'm like, shit, there's like 4 Kais.
I know.
And it's like one of the names that's like the top 5 increased names in the last 10 years. And
oh my gosh.
Then again, I've got my girl name who we had chosen for Kai. So we had 2 names that we loved for Kai if we thought he was going to be a girl. And so the name we chose was Aria, and her middle name is Ruby.
Cute.
Yeah. So Aria means like melody, song, sky, air, like noble. Like it's got a lot of meanings. And so we really love like the nature aspect to that.
I love, my friend has an aria. It's such a beautiful
Yeah, it's like very melodic. And then Ruby's her grandma's middle name, her great grandma's name, and my mum's favorite birthstone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that connection.
I know.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
We went a bit wild with Aria because a lot of people will try and keep that same theme. Like we had the 3-letter, 1-syllable names. Like, do we go the same? And I was like, no, for your third, I always say to people, go wild. Like you don't have to stick to anything. And so, yeah, the other name we loved for her was Indigo, and it was very
love that name.
That's what Bodhi would have been if he was a girl.
It's such a good name.
I would have had my Indigo.
Yeah, so Indigo, you know what? This is the interesting thing. I did lose a baby in between, and I never found out the gender, but I named her, who I felt like it was, Indigo Rain, and you've got Bodhi Rain.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Not many people know that, but now everyone probably does.
That is what our baby was going to be called, Indigo Rain.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It's a gorgeous
so maybe
name.
That's why I never used it, because it felt like it was already
taken.
Yeah.
Wow. It's such a beautiful name. And I actually, Indigo is the name, one of Mark's like friends named their daughter Indigo like shortly after we had Bodhi, so that kind of took it off the table. But I also thought like Indigo for a boy.
Are you still friends with that person now?
Mark's very good friends.
Okay.
Yeah, very good friends. But yeah, so Indigo, I was like, oh, maybe it could be a boy. Like maybe we could have a boy Indigo.
Totally. Call him Indy.
Indy,
So
I know. And we know in Indiana, a boy Indiana, which is a really cool name.
I love Indy for a boy, INDY. But the name that my boys had named my bump through pregnancy, and they named her Oceana. So they were pretty annoyed that we didn't go with that name. Yeah.
Oh,
that's a really
so she's
pretty
kind
name.
of got 3 names still. We still talk to her about them. She knows them all.
Oh my gosh.
I've seen that name on your baby lists, the Oceana name. Yeah.
Yeah, Oceana.
Cool.
I think it's so sweet. Yeah. So
it's really sweet.
Yeah, so that's kind of, but with Aria, we waited to meet her first. We actually had those names, and we were like, we're just going to wait and hold her and meet her and just know and take some time and not have to feel rushed. And yeah.
That is so, and how do you, okay, so I was reading a little bit on your website about like your process. Like how do you sort of do it when you meet up with families? Like how do you kind of, what's the intuitive side of it? Like how do you kind of find your way through helping them find a name?
So depending on what offer they choose, I've got ones where it's just like, ask me a question and then I will intuitively answer. Like you could say, what middle name do you think for this? Or what name for a sibling of, these are my siblings, what names would you throw out? And that's very intuitive because I don't know anything about them. I don't see any pictures. I just feel into it and I share whatever the name is that comes to me. or whatever it is that they're asking. And then I've got my name orders where they are personalized name lists, and they fill out a questionnaire, and I do learn a little bit more about them, names they love, names they don't love, names they can't use because they're like family or close friends. I ask them like what lights them up. Like I just kind of feel their vibe a little bit. And then, you know, based on all of that, I will do research. And also if names, I feel like names are just constantly coming to me, even if they don't match their criteria, I will still share them and be like, look, these are like so left field, but like they're in my head. So I'm going to share them anyway. And sometimes they're the ones that hit.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Like that makes me think that like the universe is like putting them in your head.
Do you ever come across parents who just really have different taste in names, and then the wife or the partner's like, well, they're just saying no to all of my suggestions? Like, how do you help untangle that?
So that's a lot. That happens pretty much.
Yeah. I hear about this all the time.
Yeah. I just shared a reel like a couple of days ago, and I just wrote, this is a true story. And all it was me blinking saying, I've said every name to my husband and he said no to every single one, but he didn't also suggest any names. And it's just gone viral because this is actually what happens.
What is happening? Yes.
Yeah. So it happens a lot. And that's often why they will, you know, come to me, because they want an outside opinion. They want a different perspective. They want to know, like, what do I think? And so then they can sit and talk about it. I had a client recently, just last week actually, and they thought they had a style that they loved. And then they realized after chatting and going through it all that actually they are very opposite. And that's why they just weren't able to come together. And then in the end, the name that they really probably going to go with was already on their list. Like, it's not always that I'm making up new names for people. They're often coming to me as like a sounding board, and they just want to like be like, these are my names, is it okay? Or show me some other names just in case. And then that way I know I've got the one, you know? So it's not always that I'm making up new names.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And are you seeing a trend right now in certain names?
The trend is vintage names, and this trend has been going on for some time.
Okay, so give us some examples.
Yeah, what does that mean? Tell us what that is.
So, you know, like names like, you guys are probably going to be like, what? Names like Nancy and Walter.
Oh my God,
they are
cute.
names that are like really coming back, and they happen to be my grandparents' names.
Wow. No way. Wow.
So yeah, names like that. And then we've also got names like August and Nora and Hazel. Hazel's just hit the top 10 in Australia.
Hazel is beautiful. I love Hazel. If I was a different person in a different life, it just does not go with my baby names. But Hazel and Nell are two names that I'm
there's another one.
Nell and Hazel as sisters. I cannot. Like, that is so
but
cute.
Like, if I wasn't myself or with my family, if I was a different person entirely.
I know. If I hadn't married Mark, if I was like a little different to who I am, then I'd go with my Hazel and my Nell.
I do love Hazel though. Like I have my list from when we were naming Winter. It's still right here. It was like,
don't show me. I'm going to share the names that I love for you.
I won't show you.
Don't show me yet.
I was showing everyone else, but
do you know what I did?
I couldn't see it. It was blurry. So
I feel like I did this thing where I started a pattern. So I did like Bodhi, Rain, Forest, Sage, Poet, Moon. Did you notice that? So I started with the 2 syllables and then 1 syllable for middle.
And you've done 4 now, so the 5th has to be the same.
I know, like Prairie, Moon. But then with Prairie, she didn't have an O as the second letter in her name, but the other 3 did. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But she was kind of my wild card. So I was like, all right, I heard the name Prairie and I was like, that is our name. I don't give a shit. This is our name.
I'm obsessed with the name Prairie.
I'm obsessed with it
quite a few times. Yeah,
you should, because I'm obsessed. But then I've done this thing where all of my middle names are names that I would actually use for first names. Like Rain, I love for
the hard
first name.
part. Yes.
Lake,
Yeah.
love. Apart from Moon, I probably wouldn't call a kid Moon, but Sage and Lake and
So
Rain.
my niece has got a middle name Sage, and then my nephew, he's Laken. Lake.
Oh, cute.
Oh.
Cute.
Yeah, so you definitely have a style.
I have what is the style called? Can you tell me? Does it have a name? Like
I was kind of likening it to like earthy, whimsical, nature inspired, gender neutral, like this, like
love.
this, like it's actually one of my favorite styles because nature inspired, whimsy. I just love that. But then they're like, you know, they're really strong names too. And so that's your style.
Yes. I'm curious about Sarah's style because I feel like Wyatt feels to me different from Winter because Wyatt's a little bit more popular. You've heard Wyatt before. And then you went to Esme and then you went to Winter. So what is this style? What's her style?
I kind of said edgy vintage.
Edgy vintage.
You've got
Esme's
this, like,
vintage.
edgy, like Wyatt, I still feels like it's vintage, but I feel like it's like that edgy vintage.
Mm-hmm.
Esme is like this beautiful feminine vintage as well. And then you went wild with Winter.
Yeah. I
was
love
like,
that.
I like this because it's kind of throwing me a little bit because I'm like, wait, hang on. Now she's quite like, you know, nature and brave, bold.
Well, Winter was on our name list forever.
Yeah, I can see
Do you
that
remember,
too.
Sarah? Like it was on a name list forever, but Mark, for whatever reason, would not go with Winter. And so Winter fell off my name list. And then I've even got a corporation, Winter, I won't say the full name of it so people don't look it up, but I've got this company that I created so many years ago because I assumed it would be my child's name.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually quite loved it for a little boy because I heard the name Winter for a boy and the mum called him Winty. And I was like,
oh my God, that's so cute.
Oh, it was so
I know,
cute.
I love it.
But then I didn't actually end up getting it past Mark. And then I realized that the universe brought me my Winter in the form of like Sarah's Winter, which was and nice.
Winter's middle name is Story. Like I'm obsessed with that too.
Oh my God. Okay. So Story, here's the thing about Story is that Wyatt's name was originally going to be Story. He was a Story. So our two names were Story and Esme. That were the two names that we had that we were like, if we ever have a boy or a girl, like these are their names. And then as I was pregnant with Wyatt, I just kept feeling like he wasn't a Story. Like the more that I would like, you know, the bigger I would get, like around 6 months or so, I was like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. Like I love the name, but he feels like strong and kind of like, you know, there's just like something different about it. And then I heard somebody talking about a guy that they knew in New York named Wyatt, and I was like, oh, wait. I think that's his name. His name was Wyatt, you know? And then I was just like, that, and it was that simple. And it also, I came from the South. So I was like, oh, there's this sort of like Southern like tie with Wyatt, like Wyatt Earp, you know? And so then we were trying to figure out the middle name, and I loved the name Oliver. So and I loved like the meaning behind like the olive tree and like that was sort of like brought it into this like nature aspect because I'm very like earthy. But Esme was like, I loved the book for Esme with Love and Squalor. And so we named her after that book, like the character in that book. And then with Winter, it was like, I don't know, it's just like weirdly was a name that came to me as I was writing other names that I won't tell you right now out. And I was just like, Winter. I was like, what if we got to put our Story in there, which was our original, and then it just came together. It was like, I think it's this name. And we talked about it for the whole entire 9 months, but like that was the name I kept coming back to.
It's so
and
pretty.
I think that's what it is. Like if there's a name that just sparks joy and you can't even explain it, like with Wyatt or Winter, you just know. That's why I say to parents, because they're like, how do I know? I'm like, you actually won't stop thinking about the name, and it will be constantly on your mind, and you almost won't want to look anymore. You know, like you just like, I'm done. This is it. You know, so, yeah.
I try like writing it out too. I'll write their names and
write
like
it out in the shower.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
Oh, that's really cute. Sarah used to like the name Sawyer as well. Remember Sawyer?
I did.
I always
liked
thought you'd
Sawyer.
end up with a Sawyer.
I know. I thought about Sawyer.
Maybe the sixth, baby.
I love Sawyer for a boy or a girl.
But there was something about I was struggling. Well, that's how I knew about the name Sawyer, was from a girl that I knew.
I actually love it more for a girl.
Oh my
I know.
God, it's so cute.
It's
for
a cool girl name. Like I
love when you can flip names on its head like that.
That's the other trend, is the boyish names for girls.
Yeah,
you know, like Noah. They're starting to love Noah, but dropping the H, which
that's right.
The H makes the name a bit more feminine.
Billy for a girl,
Frankie, Charlie,
Frankie,
all those names. For a girl. Mm.
Oh my God, I love that.
I've actually written for all of your names, your kids' names.
What?
I've featured every single one of their names. Like, it's to be that I have. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I love that.
Yeah, so I've written for who I think they would be. Do you want me to read one out?
Oh my God.
Yes, please. Read.
Okay, so Bodhi, a softly spoken, calm soul with the kindest personality. He loves to cuddle and snuggle every moment he can. He is overly affectionate, and perhaps that is his way of reminding you that he was sent to heal your heart. Bodhi is the one you always dreamt of.
He is. Oh,
that is so beautiful. Sweet. Oh my God.
He's a snuggle bunny. He'll come and sit in my lap, and he's so massive now. He's so massive. These kids are getting so big.
How old is he?
He's 10 and a half, but we measured, he's up to my lips now. So he's made it up to my lips, which I just cannot believe. I was like,
how tall are you?
Only 5'5".
Oh, you're 5'5".
I'm like, Sarah, you're like 6'1".
My son, who's 13, he's now 179 centimeters tall. He's nearly at 6'4".
How tall are you?
I'm only like 163 centimeters.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're shorter than me. I'm 166.
I'm little.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read Esme? Because I just quickly found Esme.
Yes, read Esme.
Okay. Do you suppose she is a wildflower with her carefree, joyous spirit and her innate ability to grow and bloom in any situation? Esme is as vibrant as they come. She's open with her heart and generous with her soul, always teaching those around her that love and kindness trumps all. She came to you in your dreams, and now she's snuggled in your arms. Your dearest Esme.
Speaking of wildflower, I love that name for a middle name.
I just shared that as a middle name option.
Oh, you did?
I love it as a middle name.
I feel like you guys have a very similar path of like what you guys, because you guys have like landed on so many of the same names.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Like wildflower for someone's middle name is so cool.
So
good. Oh my God.
I love like evergreen.
Ever.
I love the name Ever.
It was on my list.
It was on mine too.
I probably would have had that in there, but a friend of ours named their child Ever before I had
love
kids.
Ever.
Yeah. And I
think that's where I heard the name, was through your
Ever.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh
I
my
know,
God. Oh, and
I know.
also Mila Jovovich's daughter was called
Ever.
Is
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So do you guys want me to share the names that I've named for your next children that you may not
Oh my
know?
God, please. Because we literally want 1,000. So maybe we'll just keep going because we have the names
writing
now.
them down. I'm writing them down.
I've got my phone ready.
Okay.
Even though we will have this forever, we can listen to it at any point.
But still,
Yeah, you should still write
to.
them down. Okay, and these are intuitive. So I haven't sat and researched and done like hours of. This is just like whatever came to me first. Okay.
Okay.
So Teresa, we've got. Well, it's interesting because I had put Story Soul.
Well, oh my God, Story I would have done, but it's her middle name. Although
That's
she
right,
might
sorry.
want.
Who cares?
I think she likes Rain. So I was like, well, you can take Rain and I'll take Story.
Perfect.
We'll write down and Soul SOL.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah, so Story Soul. And then I've got Sunny Blue, SUNNY. You could go boy or girl, Sunny Blue, but I do like Sunny, SUNNY.
Oh my
for
God.
girl.
So cute.
And then we've got Aspen Bear.
Oh, that's
so cute.
What? That's her dog's name, Aspen. And Bear is the nickname she calls Wyatt, Little Bear.
It's so cute.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's so good.
We've got Meadow Fern.
Okay, Meadow is majorly on the list, but here's my question for you. I thought in my head, I was like, Okay, story is so beautiful I like it for a boy, if I have a boy, right? But story and poet go together. But meadow, I'm obsessed with it. Mark loves it. Yeah, but meadow, prairie, and forest. Can you do that? It's like,
you can do that.
And then my next one's going to be called Oval. Like, seriously. I'm like, it's just like fields of green. Like,
I mean,
can I do
I
meadow,
love that.
Meadow,
so
prairie, and forest.
So
is like, I feel like meadow would be like, if you named your next child Meadow, it would just.
What about for a boy?
Meadow for a girl or a boy, but my niece is called Meadow, so
I'm obsessed with Meadow. It's been on our list forever, and Mark is obsessed with that name. He's like, I just always thought I would have a Meadow.
Oh, I can see you with a Meadow.
All right.
I've got a couple more. River, Brave.
Okay, so River, Bodhi would have been River, but then River blew up, and all my friends have a River. Like Megan Gale has a River. She had River right as
what was the middle name? River what?
Brave.
Brave.
Cute.
Do you know I had the name Aura Brave written down.
Oh, wait, I've got that name coming up.
What? You have the name Aura?
Yes, but not on your list, on someone else's list.
What?
Oh my God.
Weird. Oh my God, that's
amazing.
That's
and I've
unbelievable.
got one more to you.
Okay, tell me.
Birdie Bloom.
I love
Bloom.
that.
Sarah knows all about
So
Bloom
good.
with me.
So
I
good.
will have a Bloom in my future.
Yes.
Like a Bloom. I've already talked about it on the podcast, so I don't mind spoiling it. But like Bloom is 100% in my future. And then when we're not
Bloom, like any of these, and I was just thinking Bloom is like literally like the dream.
Bloom is my dream name.
Good.
Do you understand? Like, you know me so well. Like, so many of these are already in my orbit.
It's crazy.
I know.
That's why it's so cool, like just sharing intuitively, because I feel like, you know, sometimes when we research too far, it takes over. Whereas if you just think from your heart.
River has always been one of my faves, but
love it.
So Sarah's nephew's River, Lara Worthington, she has a River. Megan Gale, she has a River. My friend Becca has a River. Like, there's
I've got a niece called River.
oh my God! Wait, you have a niece called River and a niece called Meadow?
I do. We've got very cool names in our family.
Wait, so her mum's name isn't Kendall,
no, not
is
the
it?
same name. No, these are different. I've got lots of siblings, remember?
You were like, I have a friend.
Oh, you do? You have
I have a friend called Kendall who has a River and a Meadow.
Yeah,
and then and the other one I forgot. So I was like, oh my God, are you somehow related to her? Like, that's so funny. Okay, hilarious.
That's really
so funny. So those are the names that I had for you, which is pretty cool because it's just, you know, whether they're the names that you will use or not, it gives you like that sense of like calm, that like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
What about the name Petal? What do we think about Petal? Because I thought
the name
Petal, Prairie, and Poet, the three little P's.
Yes. I've got one more name that just came to me.
What?
Pixie.
Oh, cute. That's really cute.
I feel like you have to add Pixie in there too now.
Pixie. All right.
I'm putting Petal down. Pearl's cute.
Really
I know
cute.
a Pearl. I know a Pearl and a Clementine that are sisters.
Clementine is
cutest.
such a pretty name.
Oh my God, that's the cutest ever. That's like the sweetest vintage.
I know.
Stuff.
Okay, cannot wait to hear Sarah's names. Oh my God, this is so exciting.
Sarah's style's slightly different, and so I went quite feminine for the girls and very strong for the boys. So the first name is Aura Maeve.
Oh my God.
Pretty. I love the name Maeve.
And I actually wrote out the meanings for you as well for these names. I don't know why. I feel like you're a meaning girl.
Aura
I am.
Maeve
I love
is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Aura
My
Maeve.
friend's daughter's name is Maeve.
Soft breeze, she who rules.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's very strong. And then we have Vera Vivian.
Ooh,
cute.
And that means faith, truth, and life. So it's just very deep.
That goes really well with Esme, Vera.
That's
and
what I
Esme.
like.
Yeah,
Similar
cute.
Vera. And then I liked Aura, which kind of felt like it was a mix between Esme and Winter. It was kind of like a mixture of like the two, because it means soft breeze.
It is.
Yeah, so it's got like a nature vibe, but it's got like this Esme vibe.
There's also this name Orla, Orla, is
there
really
is.
beautiful.
Orla.
It's really pretty.
That's cute. It's
Yeah.
prettier coming out of your mouth than it is coming out of mine.
Then American
Orla. And then
Orla.
you're like,
oh yeah, it's a
Orla,
bit Orla
Orla.
Olsen.
Orla.
Yeah. Orla.
Ola. And then the last name for a girl I have is Lila Soleil, and it means night sun.
Soleil is beautiful. We have a friend who's used that name.
Yes.
I have it as a middle name somewhere as well.
So cute. So cool.
I love Lila. That was one of my favorite names when I was it was spelled like that when I was younger. And then I was like, I will always have a daughter called Lila. It was Lila Blue. And
Blue?
Lila Blue. And
That's so
I would
funny.
play.
It said Sunny Blue up top.
I know.
I love
Blue.
that. Yeah,
and I would
same.
play Oasis. You know that song, Hey Lala.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, you know that song. Okay, cool.
So good.
We can't
Love
you
Oasis.
tell by the way I sing, because I just like have such a beautiful singing voice that
Oh my
it's just
God.
really on point, pitch perfect, you know?
Especially in the car with the kids.
Yeah.
listening.
One of my talents.
I love that. I love Oasis so much.
Okay, so for the boys,
Yes.
I have Jasper Lennon.
Oh my gosh. That
Jasper
is
is this
so cute.
really edgy vintage name, and it means, so that entire name means bringer of treasure and love.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
And then I had Oscar Maxwell, which
Oh my
means
gosh.
greatest champion warrior.
Wow.
Yes.
And I thought Wyatt and Oscar.
Oscar. Those names go together.
So
They're
cute.
similar type of names.
Yeah, they feel like that real like fun vintage. And
Yeah.
then the last name, which I love, is August Sunny.
August.
And it
Sarah.
means greatest sun. And I thought that could really work too, because I just love the name August so much. And I, you know, it's got that like naturey vibe. It's, you know, it's vintage. It's just crept into the Australian top 100. It's come in at 100. So it's a name that I'm watching closely. I think it's going to climb.
And
But,
Augie is so cute.
So cute.
Augie.
I will say I wasn't going to comment until you were done, because there was just a couple of funny things. So it's so funny, your intuition, right? So like one of my best friend's daughter's name is Maeve. One of my other really good friend's daughter's name is Lila. And one of my best friend's daughter's name has Solil. And one of our best friend's name is Jasper. And then I have thought about on every child of naming them August. Every single kid, it's been on my list. Like
Every
100%.
The moment you said
August.
August, I was like, this is
Because, okay, so here's what I would say if I was consulting with you. I love the name Everest, but I can't get Eric on board. So I love Ever, but I also love, because I'm a very like mountains, nature, like I want to be outside. Like I'll tell you my other favorite name, because I probably will end up using it, but I'm not going to tell you on the air. But August has that same like feeling in the, for me, it's a lot of the way it sounds and the way it feels like when I'm saying it. So August and Everest have that very same like feel, but Everest has something that feels a little bit more like mountain, obviously because it's after a mountain. But
Everest
it like
flows a lot with winter as well.
Yes, it does. It flows with winter.
Yeah,
it does.
And
but it also flows with Wyatt, because it's got that ending of like that harder ending with the T.
Wyatt.
So I feel
Everest.
like it actually can, and then it starts with the E. So it actually flows with all of your names.
I've been obsessed with Everest for you guys forever,
Love
but
Everest.
also August.
I
I've
can't
always
get
been
Eric
like,
on board with
I wish I
Everest.
used the name August. I actually do.
I love
It's
the name
so
August.
good, Sarah. That is a contender.
And then everybody that's annoying would always ask me, but if he's not born in August, does
Who
it?
cares?
And I'm like,
No,
who
he
cares?
gives a shit. Guess
Okay.
what? Like cool things happen in August. Also, your babies were born in August.
I mean, I have so many August babies. I
She
mean,
has-
two,
this is
but
what
still.
me and my husband were both August babies. I'm like, why didn't we use the name August?
August is the best name.
I know, it's
for
such
you.
a good name.
I'm
okay, now I
obsessed.
have to read you my names for winter, okay? This is going to make you laugh just based on what happened up here. So it was Winter Meadow, Winter Eleanor, Winter Everest, Clover Rain, Clover June. And then this was Esme's. Esme wanted us to call the baby Owl. So she was like, Winter. I know, it's so Esme. She's such a wild card.
This is why it's so funny. It's so
Winter Owl. Okay, that's what they wanted. And then Winter Story was on here. And then Clover Everest. For a long time, I really wanted to name a baby Indiana June. And everybody was like, it sounds like Indiana Jones. But I loved Indiana for girl, and I loved the name June. I feel like
that name.
June feels more traditional, but like something like a little bit more wild about Indiana. But anyway, so I had Clover June, and then I just like kept thinking about all those names, and that. So mine really does like I flip flop. I'm kind of all over the place.
I feel like you've got this like really edginess, but then you do tend to go back to those vintage, classic, timeless names, which is where June's coming in.
Yeah,
So,
and Eleanor.
And Eleanor,
yeah.
like pairing those like the really bold, brave name with like a vintage or like classic is actually quite a loved style for people because they want to be brave, but then they're like, they pull back a little bit. So, because they go back to what's familiar, right? So what's comfortable and what they just know and love. So that's why often they'll pair like something that's really classic with something that's really wild and out there. Actually, the name Wild, I love as well.
Love that name. I love that name. It's so good.
My friend Kate has a little girl called Eos because it's a Welsh name. Eos Wild. And she's Australian. So she was like, I want to get like my name in there as well. And so it's WILDE, which is really cute. Yeah. The E to like make it feminine or whatever.
Yeah, no, I do love the name Wild. I've nicknamed my daughter Aria Ruby Wild. I'm like, I kind of want to add Wild in there because she is my wild child. And that's how I came up with Wildflower. She's my wildflower. Yeah, so I feel like her name's actually Aria Ruby Wild.
How can I put Wildflower in one of these names? Meadow Wildflower cannot work. That is too much. No. Oh, anyway, I'll figure it out.
I love it. It's so good. Well, okay, so do you have, I guess, give us your top 10 right now trending names that you have for people.
Look, I can give you the names that are the fastest growing names in popularity, like over in the last year. So from 2022, this is Australian. This is an Australian list.
Yeah.
Okay. It's cool. I mean, awesome. That's what I'd rather go. I'd rather go with that list anyway. You know?
But I mean, the Americans have a different style. So there is definitely like some of the names that are in our top 100 do not make the top 100 for, or even the top 10, don't even make the top 100 for the US. But we're very influential, so I'm sure they'll come over there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we've got names like Miles, Tommy, August, Ollie, Finlay, Spencer, Jude, Rory, Koa, and Isaiah.
Koa.
The names like Tommy and Ollie, for us Aussies, obviously they come from Oliver and Thomas, but we love like a nickname name.
Tommy.
And now these nickname names are really prominent. Like they're being loved on their own. And it's for the first time Ollie has made the top 100
wow.
on his own.
Cute.
And I love Ollie.
I do too.
I love it.
It's so
really
cute.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of me like busting out an Ollie when I was 13 and thought I was a cool skateboarder.
I feel like you could totally do that. But I also think Aussie, you could totally do Aussie, OZZY.
Aussie. I have a friend who's got a little his name's Austin, but she calls him Aussie for sure. It's really cute.
I like Aussie.
That's cute.
And then for the girls, Cleo, Nina, Ada, Lottie, Maisie, Margot, Nora, Millie, Phoebe, and Audrey.
Oh,
wait, I love all of those.
The vintage names, but also for the girls, the names so there's 30 out of the top 100 in Australia. This has only just come out. That's why I'm like talking about them. They're ending in that E sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very loved, especially in Australia, for girls, which is cool. Yeah.
Margot.
I love Maisie.
Oh,
yeah,
Maisie.
Margot and Esme go really well together.
Margot is so cute, and Maisie is so. Wait, didn't I send you
Maisie's
something
gorgeous.
recently that I was like, it was some name that came to me, and I was like, Taz, this name is so good. I can't remember what it was now.
I love the name Daisy.
Daisy, that's another name.
So
and I also love the name Ivy.
Ivy's
yeah.
gorgeous. That's one of those older names. I had an Auntie Ivy.
I love
like
Birdie.
Iris.
I always tried to get Birdie into our mix, and Eric
Birdie.
was like, no, it's not happening.
That was one of the names I
He's
said
like, okay.
first.
I know. That's how you
maybe
mean.
you take Birdie.
You could totally take
Yeah, I love
You-
Birdie, but
you have
it
Birdie.
wasn't.
Birdie Margot.
Birdie Margot.
Birdie Margot. I think I like the name Birdie based on the little girl in this movie with Sandra Bullock and Harry Connick Jr. What was that movie called? It was so good
Oh
and
my
sappy.
God.
Like he sang that song.
And he
like,
died in it.
Did he die? I don't think he died.
No, I'm thinking,
I don't think
of
he
course.
died.
Of course. I'm like, oh yeah, and he died, and he was like a ghost. Wait, what is it with Harry
that's a
Connick
ghost
Jr.?
movie. Is that his name? Wait, am
Harry
I saying?
Connick Jr. I swear to God, there's a movie
Hold
where
on.
he died and
Oh yeah, no, this is his name.
Hope Floats. I'm
That's
thinking
the
of.
name. Wait, he dies?
Doesn't he
That's the
die in
movie.
that?
Does he die in Hope Floats?
I think he does.
Tragic.
Doesn't he
I don't
die in a
remember.
car
I mean, I
accident or-
remember crying a lot in that movie, but her daughter's name is Birdie, and I could die over that little girl. She was like the cutest thing, and I was like, oh, when I have a little kid one day, I'm going to name her Birdie. This was like when I was still living in Kentucky.
Well, keep Birdie on your list. You guys can switch lists. It's all good.
They are interchangeable, actually.
They're interchangeable. And yeah, I also think the name Willow could work for either.
It's really
Willow.
pretty.
I love that name.
Winter and Willow.
Yeah, that's
I love
really
that.
pretty.
Wait, it was Mae Whitman. I didn't even realize that was
Yes,
Mae Whitman who was
I
playing the little girl.
I remember her as a child
Her name was, like,
actress because I really wanted to be an
Bernice.
actor.
But I think they
And I was
called her like
that,
Birdie.
that Mae Whitman, she's in
Oh,
everything.
She was so good in that. She was so good
So good in everything.
in
She was a child
Parenthood. Wasn't she in
actress.
Parenthood too? Oh my God. I love
Yeah.
her.
She's very good.
Okay, well, this was really fun.
It
Thank
was
you so
so
much
fun.
for coming on and sharing. Can you tell everybody where they can come and find you and get intuitive name readings with you or like all the things? Tell us where they can find you.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm on all of the platforms, but Instagram is my space. So if you need to get any name inspiration, I share lots and lots of free name content on there. So the cool thing is, you might even find a name without even needing to speak to me, which is pretty cool too. So you can find me at Grow Little Wildflower on Instagram, and you can send me a message or maybe multiple because I might miss them because it's just me, or send me an email, or you can connect with one of my offers and my services that I offer. So
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Everyone needs to do this.
I know. It's the
I feel
love
really
it.
excited.
I honestly stalk your page. I love looking up baby names. I don't know why it's so exciting. Like, you remember how back in the day there used to be some like website where you could look at like the top 100, and it was so janky. It was like such a hard website to navigate. But I would be like, you have to click the A and then scroll all the way through like so many names, and then you make it so easy. It's like,
I think it's so cool now because with social media, like, back in the day when people think of popular names, they think, oh, I don't want to go in the top 100. But back in the day when it was like a top name, there was like 80,000 people using that name. Now the top names, there might only be like 11,000 people this is US. Or in Australia, our top name, Isla, I think there's about 1,200 people that used it. So it's not like there's 5,000
That's right.
Islas running around.
Yeah.
So it's important to like kind of look at those stats as well when you're thinking like, I don't want to go in this top, 100 or whatever, because it's not as popular as what it was years ago, because years ago we only had our friends and family that we knew names. Now we're on social media and we can see a variety.
Everything.
And we get
It's so
inspired.
true. Yes.
Now you have made me want to have 5 more babies. So now I've got 5 more babies coming. You know what their names are. Thanks to you.
I've literally written them all down.
You need to contact me so I can help. Let's like talk through it.
Definitely.
Amazing.
I can't wait.
Well, thank you so much,
you
Michelle.
so much,
it was such a
Michelle.
pleasure to
Thank you
have
for having
you. You guys have been listening to the Mother Days podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Bye,
Woo,
Daisy.
woo. Bye, Daisies.